Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old as gold, but these rare Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and walked right past it? Or maybe tossed one into a jar without giving it a second thought? Well, today you're about to discover why that tiny copper coin, specifically a 1961 Lincoln penny, might be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. In fact, it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. That's right, this small, everyday coin from over 60 years ago may be hiding a secret. And if you have one of these rare treasures sitting in your home, you could be holding a fortune without even knowing it. Let's take a journey into the story behind this coin. The Lincoln cent is one of the most iconic coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it's been in circulation ever since. But in the world of coin collecting, not all Lincoln pennies are created equal. Some are extremely rare, some contain minting mistakes, and some, like the 1961 D, have become legends in the numismatic world for reasons you'll soon discover. And now, the D on this coin stands for the Denver Mint, where millions of these pennies were produced in 1961. At first glance, there's nothing especially unusual about them. They're made mostly of copper, they weigh just over 3 grams, and they feature Lincoln's familiar portrait on the front with the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1961. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial and the words, "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and 1 cent. But here's where the story starts to get really interesting. While the majority of 1961 D pennies were used in everyday transactions and suffered heavy wear over time, a select few survived in extraordinary condition. And an even smaller number contain unique features that make them exceptionally valuable to collectors. One such feature is what collectors call a mint error. This can happen when a coin is improperly struck, misaligned, double-stamped, or when the mint mark is punched more than once. These errors are rare, and they weren't always caught during production, meaning some of these coins made it out into circulation without anyone noticing at the time. Another valuable variation is the condition itself. Most pennies from 1961 look worn, dull, or scratched. But a coin that has never been circulated, what collectors call mint state, can shine like it was made yesterday. These coins are graded on a 70-point scale, and the higher the grade, the more valuable it becomes. A 1961 D Lincoln penny that has been perfectly preserved, with no flaws visible even under magnification, can command a serious price in the collector's market. Now imagine finding one of these coins in your grandfather's coin collection, or tucked away in an old box of keepsakes. It may look like just another penny, but under the surface, it could be a rare gem that serious collectors would pay a small fortune to own. It's also worth mentioning that Lincoln pennies, especially from mid-20th century mints, have become incredibly popular among coin enthusiasts. Some people spend years trying to assemble a full collection with one coin from each year and mint mark. And when it comes to the 1961 D penny, the demand has quietly grown, especially for those few coins that stand out for their exceptional quality or rare errors. So how can you tell if your penny is valuable? First, check the year and mint mark, 1961, with a small d under it. Next, look at the coin's overall condition. Is the detail sharp? Is the luster still there? Are there any unusual markings or doubling of the numbers or letters? If your coin looks especially clean and well preserved, or if something about it just seems off compared to other pennies, you might want to have it evaluated by a professional grading service. And now for the moment you've been waiting for. We've talked about the history, the minting, the errors, and the condition. But just how much can a rare 1961 D Lincoln penny be worth? While most 1961 D pennies are worth only face value, the rarest examples, those in flawless condition or containing minting errors, have sold at auction for amounts that would make anyone's jaw drop. That humble 1 cent coin could be worth anywhere between $28,000 and a stunning $70,000. Incredible, isn't it? A coin that was once used to buy a piece of candy could now be worth enough to buy a luxury car or even a house in some areas. So the next time you come across an old penny, don't be so quick to toss it aside. Take a moment to look closer. Because that ordinary-looking coin just might be an extraordinary piece of American history, and a very valuable one. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's hidden coin treasures, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more fascinating coin stories, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover hidden value in your own home. Coin number 2. Have you ever held a penny and thought, it's just 1 cent, nothing special? Well, what if I told you that one specific penny, a 1963 Lincoln cent, could be worth thousands upon thousands of dollars today? That's right. One tiny copper coin, minted more than 60 years ago, could be hiding in plain sight, sitting quietly in a jar of spare change, completely overlooked. Until now, in today's video, we're going to peel back the layers of one of the most underappreciated coins in American history. We're not talking about gold, or silver, or dollar bills, we're talking about something that millions of people have touched, but only a handful truly understand, the 1963 Lincoln penny. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why some collectors are paying tens of thousands of dollars for this little coin, and how to tell if you might already own one yourself. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln cent is one of the most widely circulated coins in the world. First issued in 1909, the coin was created to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most iconic and respected presidents in U.S. history. For over a century, his portrait has appeared on the front of the penny, making it a familiar face in every American's wallet. But not every Lincoln penny is the same, and the 1963 D is a perfect example of how something seemingly ordinary can become extraordinarily valuable. The D under the date tells us this coin was minted in Denver, Colorado. In 1963, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies to keep up with the growing demand for small change. These coins were intended for daily use, to be passed from hand to hand in stores, gas stations, lunch counters, and banks. And most of them served exactly that purpose. Worn down, scratched, and forgotten over time, but some, just a few, escaped that fate. You see, not all coins come off the minting press the same way. Sometimes, a few coins are struck more sharply than others. Sometimes the dies used to stamp the coins were fresh and clean, leaving behind crisp, detailed images. And sometimes, tiny, unexpected mistakes occurred, minting errors that slipped through unnoticed, only to become rare collectibles years later. These are the coins collectors crave. Coins that were never meant to be anything more than pocket change, but now hold immense historical and financial value because of their condition, their rarity, or their flaws. Now let's talk about what makes a 1963 D penny stand out. Point 1. Of the most sought-after characteristics is a perfect strike. This means the coin has deep, bold details in Lincoln's hair, in the text, and in the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. The higher the detail and the better the shine, the more desirable it becomes. Then there's the grade of the coin. Coins are professionally graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with a perfect 70 being a flawless, uncirculated coin. A 1963 D penny that has been carefully preserved, untouched by time or human hands, can reach extremely high grades, and with that, extremely high values. But here's where things get even more exciting. Some 1963 D Lincoln pennies contain minting errors. These are accidental anomalies that happen during the production process. For example, a doubled die error where the design appears slightly doubled due to misalignment during striking can add massive value. Other errors might include off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. These errors were never meant to exist, which is exactly why collectors will pay big money to get their hands on one. Now, before you rush off to dig through your piggy bank, let's go over how to spot a potentially valuable 1963 D penny. First, check for the D mint mark beneath the ear. Next, examine the condition. Look for sharp edges, full details in Lincoln's hair and coat, and a clean surface with no wear. If you suspect an error, use a magnifying glass to inspect for doubling, misplaced lettering, or unusual features. And if the coin looks like it's in exceptional condition, consider having it professionally graded. It might cost a little, but the return could be massive. So, how much can this unassuming little copper coin actually be worth? Well, while most 1963 D pennies are only worth a cent or two, there are rare examples, those with pristine surfaces, high grades, or minting errors, that have sold at auction for jaw-dropping amounts. Are you ready for the number? A rare and exceptional 1963 D Lincoln penny can be worth anywhere from $24,000 to an astonishing $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. That 1-cent coin, tossed aside by millions, could actually be worth more than a luxury car or even a down payment on a house. All because of how rare and well preserved it is. So the next time you're sorting through your spare change or going through an old coin collection, don't overlook the humble penny. Especially not the 1963 D Lincoln cent. Because sometimes, hidden among the ordinary, is something truly extraordinary. If you found this video helpful and eye-opening, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on rare coin stories, collecting tips, and hidden treasures. Coin number 3, we're going to look at a coin that could completely change the way you see spare change forever. That's right, we're talking about a small, copper-colored coin from 1966 that might look ordinary, but it could actually be worth a fortune. If you have a 1966 Lincoln penny sitting in a drawer, tucked away in an old piggy bank, or resting quietly in a coin collection that's been forgotten over the years, you might want to stop what you're doing and take a closer look. Because that little coin, if it has the right features, might just be one of the most valuable cents in circulation. To understand what makes the 1966 Lincoln cent so special, we need to take a step back in time. The year 1966 was a period of transition and tension in America. The Vietnam War was escalating. The civil rights movement was making history. Television was changing the way people viewed the world. And behind the scenes, in the quiet halls of the U.S. Mint, millions of pennies were being pressed and released into the hands of the American public. Now, here's the interesting part. Unlike most years, no mint marks were used on U.S. coins in 1965, 1966, or 1967. This was part of an effort by the U.S. Treasury to discourage collectors from hoarding coins during a nationwide coin shortage. So even though 1966 pennies were struck at multiple mints, including Philadelphia and Denver, they were all released without mint marks. This alone makes the 1966 penny historically unique. But it's not just the lack of a mint mark that catches the attention of collectors. It's what happened during the minting process. While the vast majority of these coins were struck with standard dies and used in everyday circulation, a very small number were created differently, either by accident or by extraordinary precision. These rare coins, either with striking errors or in near-perfect condition, are what make the 1966 penny a potential goldmine. Let's talk about some of the features collectors look for when searching for a rare 1966 penny. First is the doubled die, one of the most famous and valuable types of mint errors. A doubled die happens when the design is impressed twice onto the coin's die, slightly off from each other. This can create the appearance of doubled letters, numbers, or other features. A 1966 penny with a strong doubled die, especially on the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, is highly collectible and worth serious money. Next up is the condition of the coin. Most 1966 pennies have been heavily circulated, used for decades, worn smooth, scratched, and dulled. But every once in a while, someone finds a penny that looks like it just rolled off the mint press. These are what collectors call mint state or uncirculated coins, and they are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The closer the coin is to a grade of 70, the more valuable it becomes, especially if it has full original luster, sharp details, and no visible marks. And finally, there are rare planchet and striking errors, coins that were struck on the wrong metal, struck off-center, or have visible die cracks or clipped edges. These are not your average coins, and they were never supposed to be released to the public. But somehow, a few made it into circulation, and now they're the crown jewels of coin collectors across the country. Imagine finding one of those rare error coins in a handful of change at the grocery store. Or discovering a flawless, uncirculated 1966 penny in a box of your grandparents' old keepsakes. It happens more often than you'd think, and when it does, it can lead to jaw-dropping payouts at auction. Now you might be wondering, what are the odds that my 1966 penny is worth anything more than a cent? Well, while the average circulated 1966 penny might only be worth face value, the rarest versions, those with mint errors, doubled dies, or mint state grading, have been known to sell for tens of thousands of dollars, and here it is. The moment you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to own one of these extremely rare and well-preserved 1966 Lincoln pennies, your single coin could be worth anywhere between $20,000 and an astonishing $58,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that once sat in someone's pocket, that may have bought a stick of gum or a stamp decades ago, could now be worth more than a luxury vehicle or even a down payment on a house. So before you toss that next penny in the tip jar or sweep it under the couch, take a moment. Look at the date. Check the details. Use a magnifier if you need to. Because in the world of coin collecting, the smallest treasures can carry the biggest surprises. If you enjoyed learning about the secret value of the 1966 penny, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and ring the bell so you never miss a chance to turn loose change into a fortune. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and happy collecting. Coin number 4. What if I told you that a single penny from 1967 could be hiding in your home right now, quietly resting in a coin jar or buried in a drawer, worth more than your entire coin collection? It sounds unbelievable, right? After all, it's just a penny. 1 cent. But in the world of numismatics, or rare coin collecting, even the most ordinary looking coins can turn out to be small treasures with incredible stories. In today's video, we're going deep into the fascinating world of the 1967 Lincoln penny. It's a coin that most people overlook, a coin that's easy to miss because it looks just like every other copper cent in circulation. But trust me, this one is different. Now, let's go back in time to the year 1967. America was in the middle of the space race. The summer of love was right around the corner. Civil rights movements were reshaping the nation, and cultural revolutions were spreading across the country. While all of this was happening, the U.S. Mint was striking millions upon millions of pennies, coins that most people didn't give a second thought. One of those coins was the 1967 Lincoln penny. The front, or obverse, of the coin features the familiar and respected image of President Abraham Lincoln, who has graced the penny since 1909. He faces right, with the words, "In God We Trust" across the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1967 stamped to the right. At first glance, it looks like every other penny minted during the mid-20th century, but here's a fascinating fact. There is no mint mark on this coin. Why? During the years 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint decided to eliminate mint marks from all coins as a response to a growing coin shortage and to discourage the public from hoarding coins based on where they were produced. So whether a penny came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, they all looked the same during that period, no tiny DRS below the date. This may sound like a minor detail, but for collectors, it's a big deal. Because the absence of a mint mark makes it harder to trace the coin's origin, and any error or variation in these years becomes even more special because we know far less about their exact production path. So, what makes a 1967 penny valuable? It's not just about the year, it's about what else is on the coin, or what went wrong during the minting process. Let's talk about errors, the most exciting and mysterious part of coin collecting. Some 1967 Lincoln pennies were struck with a double die. That means the die, the tool used to stamp the design onto the coin, shifted slightly between strikes. This creates a visible doubling effect on the letters or numbers, especially in the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date. These doubled features are rare, and if you have a coin with one, you might be holding something far more valuable than pocket change. Other error types that collectors search for include off-center strikes, die cracks, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet, that is, coins accidentally made on blanks intended for nickels, dimes, or foreign coins. Each of these mistakes turns a regular 1967 penny into a one-of-a-kind collectible, but even if your coin has no errors, it can still be incredibly valuable if it's in exceptional condition. Most 1967 pennies have seen decades of wear and tear. They've been dropped, passed around, scraped, and forgotten. But a very small number of coins were somehow preserved. Maybe someone stored them away. Maybe they were never spent. These coins maintain their original mint luster, their copper shine, and their fine, sharp details. Collectors call these coins uncirculated or mint state, and they're graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin that scores above 65 on this scale, especially one from 1967, is considered a gem. And gem coins command gem prices. So how do you know if you have a rare 1967 penny? Start by taking a good look at it. Is the coin still red and shiny, like it just came from the mint? Are Lincoln's facial details sharp and well-defined? Are the letters crisp and the surface free of deep scratches or nicks? If so, you may have an uncirculated piece. Next, use a magnifying glass or loupe to examine the text closely. Look at the word "Liberty," at the date, and at "In God We Trust." Do any of the letters or numbers appear doubled or slightly shifted? That might be a double die error, one of the most valuable types of mint mistakes. If your coin meets one or both of these criteria, it's worth getting it professionally graded. Services like PCGS and NGC can authenticate your coin and give it an official grade, which greatly increases its value on the collector's market. And now, the big question: what's a rare 1967 Lincoln penny actually worth? If you've got one of the rare mint state coins, or even better, one with a visible minting error or a double die, then you're not holding a regular penny anymore. You're holding a hidden treasure. And that 1 cent coin, in the right condition, could be worth between $18,000 and $52,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that once bought a gumball could now buy you a car. A coin you could have found in change might now cover college tuition. And the best part? It's still out there. There's no telling how many more of these coins exist in forgotten jars, old wallets, or dusty attic boxes, just waiting to be discovered. So before you ignore that next penny, take a closer look. It might just be the most valuable coin you've ever held. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more amazing stories behind rare coins hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. We've got more hidden treasures to uncover, and your next big discovery might be just one coin away. Coin number 5, we're diving deep into one specific coin that has caught the attention of collectors, appraisers, and treasure hunters alike, the 1971 Lincoln penny. It may look like every other copper coin you've ever seen, but don't let appearances fool you. Some of these humble coins have secrets that only a trained eye can spot, secrets that could be worth thousands of dollars. The story of the 1971 Lincoln penny begins in an era of shifting culture and technological advancement. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, NASA was preparing for the post-Apollo era, and across the U.S., inflation was beginning to stir. Against this backdrop, the U.S. Mint in Denver was busy producing millions upon millions of pennies. These coins were intended for daily transactions, passing quickly from hand to hand, paying for newspapers, gumballs, parking meters, and more. But as any collector will tell you, just because a coin was mass-produced doesn't mean they're all the same. Let's break it down. The 1971 Lincoln penny features the iconic bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. This familiar image has been on the penny since 1909, celebrating Lincoln's legacy. Just to the right of Lincoln's chest, you'll see the small letter D, the mint mark indicating the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial is displayed in remarkable detail, surrounded by the phrases United States of America, e pluribus unum, and of course, the coin's denomination, 1 cent. Now here's where things get interesting. Millions of these coins were produced, but only a few escaped the mint in exceptional condition, and even fewer contain rare errors or anomalies that make them truly valuable. You see, not every coin comes out perfect. Sometimes, during the minting process, tiny mistakes happen, mistakes that were never meant to leave the facility. But occasionally, a few slip through. These are what collectors call error coins, and depending on the error and the coin's condition, they can be worth far more than their face value. One of the most valuable types of error found in some 1971 Lincoln pennies is the double die. This occurs when the coin die, the metal stamp that creates the design, imprints the image slightly off-center, twice. This creates a subtle but visible doubling of the letters or numbers on the coin, most often on Liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," or the date itself. Spotting a double die requires a careful look, often with a magnifying glass or microscope, but to a collector's eye, it's like finding gold. Other rare variations include off-center strikes, where the image is visibly misaligned, or coins struck on the wrong planchet, for example, a penny struck on a dime-sized blank. These freak occurrences are exceedingly rare, but when they're found, they are highly sought after and often fetch impressive prices at auction. And let's not forget condition, a factor that plays a massive role in the value of any coin. Most 1971 pennies out there today have been through decades of circulation. They're scratched, discolored, worn down, and in many cases, completely overlooked. But once in a while, someone discovers a 1971 penny in near mint or uncirculated condition, preserved as if it was frozen in time. These coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a flawless, mint-state specimen. A 1971 penny with a grade of MS65 or higher, especially if it includes a mint error or double die, is extremely rare and valuable. What makes this particular coin even more fascinating is that it's so unassuming. You've probably handled dozens of 1971 pennies in your life without realizing that one of them could have been worth thousands. That's part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. It turns the everyday into a potential treasure hunt. So now you might be wondering, how do I check if my 1971 penny is valuable? Here's what to look for. First, confirm the date and mint mark, 1971 with a D below the date. Next, examine the lettering closely for signs of doubling. Check the overall condition. If your coin still has that original copper red luster, minimal scratches, and sharp details, it might be in mint state. And finally, if you think you found something special, consider getting the coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A proper grade can significantly impact your coin's market value. And now, for the part you've been waiting for. So what could a rare 1971 Lincoln penny actually be worth? If you're lucky enough to have a coin with a double die, a mint error, or a mint state grading at MS65 or higher, Then congratulations, because that little penny could be worth anywhere between $15,000 and a remarkable $48,000, yes, a single 1-cent coin. That's the magic of numismatics, the world of rare coin collecting, where history, rarity, and condition come together to create value beyond anything you'd expect. So the next time you're digging through change, cleaning out an old drawer, or flipping through your grandparents' coin album, keep an eye out for the 1971 D penny. It might just be your ticket to an incredible discovery. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about hidden gems in your pocket change, make sure to give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell. We've got more stories, secrets, and surprises from the world of coins coming your way. Until then, keep hunting, stay curious, and happy collecting.